Hello and welcome to Waffle Airlines. I'm Peter, your captain speaking. Please fasten your seatbelts, watch the safety video, because today we're going to talk about long flights. Hello again, and crewing the plane with me tonight are Ben and Becca. Hello, Ben and Becca.
Hello. Happy Wednesday.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
I know it's a long haul flight tonight, so are we going for a 10-hour show?
10-hour show.
Stop it.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility. And handing out the drink service is John. Hello, John.
Evening. I'm quite disappointed, Peter. I thought you were going to say, "Good evening. I'm Patrick. I'm your chief flight attendant." I just thought we could have gone for maximum input there and just like just get it. Yeah, look, even got t-shirt.
There you go.
Does this mean first stop is France, John?
I set you up. I set you up for the t-shirt. Yeah, never, Ben. That's never there. We're going to Mexico. If you're really lucky. Depends which airline you're on, you know.
Hopefully not Ryanair.
No, I've also got just to keep on track. Do I need to take off these little
these little beauties? Yes,
these little beauties before we begin as well. You know. Sorry, couldn't resist.
That's all right. Making sure all the exits are not going to blow the door away.
Oh dear.
It's Robin. Hello, Robin.
We're not meant to say things like that, Peter.
Evening.
Yes, yeah. And co-piloting with me today is Jill. Hello, Jill.
Hello.
And how are you? Not that I don't know.
Oh, not bad.
Jill, are you in charge of navigating?
I hope not. Does that mean we start with Peter navigating?
See, I thought Peter would be the one doing the catering, sort of coming down serving the food.
This is true.
Beef or chicken, madam?
Do you have a vegetarian option?
Or you, what do you want?
That's more like it.
You're just defrosting.
All those years of practice at John Lewis have stood him well there, haven't they? Oi, what you want?
What you want? Oh, dear me. So, we've all experienced the joys of a long flight. Flights to Orlando from the UK take about 10 hours or so, although it can be as little as 8, depending on following wind and which route you're going. So, what we'd like to do tonight is talk about our top tips for getting the most out of the experience of a long flight.
Book upper class.
It has to be done. Pardon?
If you book upper class.
Look up a class.
It's definitely more enjoyable than economy.
Yes, absolutely. I guess it depends on where you're going, but yes. So, who wants to start? Let's think about what we would do before we actually board. Who is a lounge person? I know that Claire's not here.
We're lounge people. We like
lounge.
a lounge.
It
It depends. Yeah.
If I've got to pay for the lounge, I'm not a lounge person. If I get it included, I'm definitely a lounge person.
See, part of me, I would rather have the lounge, even if I have to pay for it.
I think it helps the anxiety of the day.
Just because,
a little bit.
for me, it's quieter than the busy main parts of the airport. I'm guaranteed to get something to eat. I'm guaranteed not to have to queue for God knows how long to get into a restaurant. I'm not having to choose where I'm going to eat, which before a flight can be kind of difficult if there isn't much choice at the airport.
You don't want a dirty spoons?
I don't. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind about the spoons.
I do.
I think I'm with Claire on that one. Never the spoons.
But because it also depends on what airport you're at, because some of the airports will have better selections of dining locations.
Yeah.
Manchester Airport's got some lovely ones. Just saying.
Do you know what? I miss Virgin going from Gatwick because they've got a Nando's. They've got a Nando's.
Yeah.
Get a Nando's.
See, also they had the V room.
They had the V room.
They do have the V room, yeah.
I
V-room
never
was
went.
great.
I never went in the V room. That was only if you
Right.
booked a Virgin holiday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a paying upgrade.
We did it once and it was lovely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Free alcohol included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the reason to book a lounge.
Just mention
Okay.
anniversary and it's what happens. And
Now,
that
see, this is
continues on
my
a Disney
problem.
trip as well.
This
Really?
is my problem because I don't drink alcohol before a flight because I take travel sickness tablets. So
You're not supposed to do both then.
no.
But then you're a bit sleepy on the flight, which could be
Which
quite a
will
good
pass
thing.
your 10-hour
I
flight, no
often
problem.
wondered why I get so sleepy after I take those motion sickness tablets. Thought out clear.
Especially when you're on the plane and like, there you go, there's some champagne, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's fine.
And different brands affect people differently.
Yeah.
I know there's one brand that Jill can take really well, and some other brands, no.
Yeah.
So I don't have any trouble on a plane.
No.
No, I
But
don't.
also we find that if you're flying in the morning, if you're flying about 10 o'clock, by the time the bag drop opens and you've done your bag drop and you've gone through security and you've got airside, you've really only got about an hour.
Yeah.
Before they
Yeah,
start
true.
boarding, and it's just not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
If you've got a
Or
1 o'clock or 2 o'clock flight,
Depends.
it's-
If you've got a 10 o'clock flight, they should be opening bag drop at 6 a.m.
Technically, well, it's say about 3 hours before.
Yeah.
3 to
the
4
airport,
hours
don't
before
they?
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, if you're on a bigger going with a bigger airline, they don't tend to close their bag drop.
No.
So you'll find
If
that
you've
you
got other
can
flights,
still
Yeah.
go and drop your bags off maybe a little bit earlier, and they're not going to turn you away. Very rarely will they turn you
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
I think the worst.
I'm just gonna butt in with the whole value for money bit because actually
for
I
it.
think Robin, you mentioned as well, if you're paying for it, it needs to be value for money. And I think
Yeah.
going from what Jill has just said, which was actually Jill, I actually completely agree with it. Sometimes if you are on an early flight out, because of the way that the whole bit of check-in, security into the sort of waiting area and just sort of browsing through the shops, it kind of goes a little bit quickly anyway. So why you don't want to be wasting
Yeah.
you don't want to waste a little bit of money in just doing that. The other thing to think of is what you're doing when you get off the flight, because if you're picking a car higher up
you shouldn't
and
be
you
drinking
drive
anyway.
it, you wouldn't be drinking at all.
Oh, I don't know. You might be drinking in the lounge before a 10-hour flight.
I say I wouldn't.
Yeah, I
Gone
wouldn't.
from your system by then.
I wouldn't.
By then.
That's fine. I wouldn't, but I would also say that that's the bit for me that is in a way a bit of a clincher, because actually is the lounge. I always struggle with the value that you get out of paying for a lounge, and I also feel that you're that excited to actually be going on holiday that you kind of just soak up exactly what's going on, and you want to be able to have some of the lounges in certain airports are in really rubbish places, so you don't get a runway view. You want to be within the mix of actually seeing what's out there in the airport, and just having that. It's that first bit of adrenaline after, Ben, you mentioned about the anxiety of it. The anxiety is that check-in. So you're getting rid of your cases. You've then got security, which it doesn't matter which airport that you're going through, be it in the UK, the US, Germany, France, Spain, wherever.
Disney.
It is always a hassle, and it's a needless hassle, because actually we all know that we're going to breeze through, but we actually, you're made to feel really uncomfortable in that certain situation. You're herded like cattle in a way, which
You forget how many
I
liquids you've got in your bag.
One thing I will say,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Gatwick and Heathrow both do it. I'm not sure about some of the other major airports.
Yeah.
To make that easier, pay the extra £5 or so it is per person for premium security.
I can't even bring me something. Becca, I take great delight in not paying for it, right? And then just watching how quick we get through security.
See, we've done this at Gatwick. We've been on both sides.
We've done both.
And I have to admit, there was times
so
we've
much nicer.
gone. Yeah, there's sometimes we've just gone through and gone like, we could have paid £5 and we'd have been had by half an hour.
Yeah,
yeah.
Wow.
I would also say it's a absolute godsend coming back.
Yeah.
When you get, if you pay for it coming back, you cut the queue, because you don't know how many planes coming back into the UK.
Land at the same time.
Yeah. But that's I'm jumping ahead a little bit on the show. The one thing I would say, I would take my hat off to anyone who's in charge at Manchester Airport, and if anyone can share this with them, because recent experiences there have been so much better. They got an awful lot of bad press, and they've tried so hard to fix it. And they have done an absolutely amazing job in making that a lot better than it was probably even pre lockdowns and things like that. Yeah, because it was just like, it was a shambolic example of probably our country in some ways, but it never worked properly, and they have got better. I would say,
talking of security. I was going to say, actually, there's slightly off topic that there's a new rule that's coming in that will change how the liquids are done with the new scanners that are going in. Yeah. And I understand Heathrow and Gatwick as well are going to experience quite a few delays, possibly this summer. That they've said that they're not going to hit the government deadline. Was it of 30th of June? Yeah. So if you are travelling this summer, be warned, there may be longer security lines while construction is happening.
Yeah.
And be aware that when you're going, you might have the liquid limitations still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we know.
There we go.
I guess in the shot. There we go. Yeah.
Mention
allowed. We did clown.
Yeah.
Mention allowed.
We're
No. I'm sure we talked about the fact that Claire would rather eat in spoons rather than go to a lounge.
That's the one.
The last time that we were in a lounge was in number 1 lounge in Gatwick. There were only 2 seats available in the whole place. It was full to bursting. Yeah. We had to share a table with a very chatty couple who bored us rigid for an hour and a half talking about their holiday and didn't shut up. And the food was rubbish. So we're quite glad that we only paid half price for it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing for me. I've been in a couple of lounges before, so I don't know if TUI still do it. But when I've flown premium with TUI, that includes a lounge at the airport. So I've had the number 1 lounge, the Aspire lounge, and they can. My experience is they're very busy. For me, if I was paying for them, I probably wouldn't. I found them too busy. There was a lot of people in there. The food was all right, and it was a buffet. Not a big fan. So
maybe it's just that my experience of lounges has always been on with the Virgin ones. So
and that's the thing. Once you've experienced how lounges should be, it kind of ruins you for all the others.
Yeah, it does. Especially when you're having to pay like £40-50 each, and it's like it's that thing. If you've got an early flight, you plan as like, actually that's going to be our breakfast, so we don't have to eat here. But then actually, are you better off eating at spoons? It's
on the way.
No.
Compared to number 1 lounge, maybe.
Well, it might be cheaper for similar quality food.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So we know where Claire's going.
Yeah. I will say that that we mentioned coming back from America, going through security in America.
Yeah.
We have especially bought the slip-in shoes that have got a hard back.
Yeah, we won't mention the name because we're not being sponsored.
Not
but
being
yeah.
sponsored by Skechers, but your feet just slip into them,
Yeah.
and they're very easy to take off.
Yeah.
Now in America, you've got to take your shoes off. So
Unless you're
it's-
TSA
TSA
pre-check.
pre-checked.
Yeah. Also, I one time going through Orlando Airport, I got my hand swab. I volunteered to have my hand swab, and I got my hand swab, and we got through with just the cases going through.
Yeah.
That's it.
Didn't have to go through security. Didn't have to take your shoes off, take your belt off. Blah 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 blah. So
Interesting.
We had something like
Yes.
that as well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were taken out of the security line. I'm guessing this is when like global entry and TSA pre-check was very new, that they were testing the new scanners
Yeah.
to see us. We were able to leave absolutely everything in the bag. Shoes were left on,
Yeah.
belts, all of that. We didn't have. We could
Yeah,
literally
we didn't have to do
just
any shoot,
walk straight through.
Yeah.
Probably the same year.
So you
Yeah.
might get randomly picked.
Yeah.
You never know.
So thinking about some of the people in our chat, for whom it's a domestic flight. It can still be a long flight, but it's obviously domestic.
Yeah.
Is it much less of a hoo-ha? Do you have to still leave hours and hours to go through security and
Yeah.
all the
I
rest
still
of
think
it?
you're still
Or-
going to have to
yeah.
similar sort of.
Yeah.
The only thing on the benefit, you don't have to go through immigration on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely a plus point because that can take a long time.
And
And
it makes your trip for leaving longer,
I
especially on a
imag-
travel day. The thing is, once you've gone through your 8, 10 hour, 6 flight, and then once we've got over to the States or any other country, it's like going through the immigration process, which I know on our first trip felt like it was 2 hours. We were waiting in a queue.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't,
Probably about an
but
hour.
it
It just
was
felt
after a
like it,
long
yeah.
flight. It just felt like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Um,
Jane has. Sorry, John. Carry on.
No. Go with what Jane was saying, Peter. 'cause-
I think Jane's been reading my script because she mentioned downloading entertainment onto an iPad or something.
Yeah.
And that's the next
Oh,
one on
yeah.
my list.
That's
Yeah.
another thing. Do before you go. But do you do that at the airport? Would you do that at home before you?
Oh,
even
at home.
I do that at
Definitely.
home. Definitely.
I normally do it at the hotel that we stay at the night before. But
Ah.
then
Where
I
the
will
best
never.
Wi-Fi is.
What
Is
ends
that
up
deliberate, or
happening?
is it because that's the first chance you've had to do it and you've forgotten?
First chance
to
I've
do
normally
it?
had to do it and I've forgotten about it. Or it's like
Yeah.
there's been new stuff on Disney Plus. I need to download that for the flight. But then 9 times out of 10, I will put my iPad in my bag, and my bag, when I get on the plane, it's up there. And
Yeah.
throughout the whole flight, I can't be bothered to get up and get it, so I just don't watch
Yeah.
them.
That's because you're usually sitting next to the window seat, and I'm the one that have to climb out and get it, and climb
And
over
you're
the poor
not for
person
moving.
sitting next to me.
Good on you. Good on you.
So
Yeah.
I think the
I-
in-flight entertainment is enough. Depends on when.
Depends
I'd
what's
say
on.
It
Yeah.
does depend on what's on. It's been last few flights we've been on. It's been a bit hit and miss.
before COVID, I had no issue.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
COVID, but also that's just delays of films in general that have been
Yeah.
Yeah.
even in the cinema, they're not being released, they're not being filmed. The whole process of it seems to have changed.
Yeah.
But
I also find because of said travel tablets, sometimes I just prefer to listen to things because then I can close my eyes. So past episodes of the Great British Mickey Waffle, obviously.
yeah,
As I say, I
podcasts are great.
last flight we went, I downloaded a whole series of podcasts that I was listening to.
Hoping it was ours.
It wasn't ours, I'm afraid. We don't have a series. It's 8 episodes long.
No. We just keep going and going and going.
We do.
100 episodes, Becca. That would have been quite.
Yeah.
That would
I
cover you.
would have.
That would cover you
I've
there,
taken
back,
ours
back, there
now.
again,
Yeah.
back again, and things like that. If you saw
I think Robin could do that on all our trips this year.
it. Oh
We
dear.
definitely didn't book another one.
Yeah.
Did you book a lounge though?
No. Do you know what? I don't have lounge at all this year. There are no upper class flights in my near future, sadly.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
But that will make the next time when you do go upper class even better.
Exactly. So yeah, there's no lounges in my future. I have to say, I know I'm going back to lounges now. I quite like the hustle and bustle of the airport.
Yeah.
I like looking around the
I
shop.
do.
I like finding
Duty
something
free
to
and just
I like watching everyone. I like staring at the gate, the gate numbers, and I like all those things. I
Yeah,
feel like
I do.
when I've
Duty
been in
free
a
is
lounge,
just-
even the
It's
Virgin Lounge,
weird.
which is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I
Duty
miss
free
that
is
part.
it's such a weird thing. It's the only place you see enormous piles of Toblerone.
Yeah, all the Toblerone and the
Except at Christmas.
Fortnum & Mason
Yes.
stuff. I always have a look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
Whenever we're in Gatwick, there's always a Lego store, so I'm always there.
Oh, there you go. See, there's always
And-
a Ted Baker store. That's usually where
Yeah.
you find me. To accessorise. I never
Oh,
go
dear.
and accessorise or Ted Baker the rest of the year. It's only at the airport.
Usually find me in Waterstones looking for a book for the fly.
Oh,
Because that's the
oh
other
dear,
thing.
Catherine, that doesn't sound good.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's there is a lack of entertainment, so it's probably best to load your iPad up full of films, and
Just in
Yeah.
case.
then you've got something to watch.
We enjoyed
Uh,
Japan, didn't we?
Things to
Japan
watch.
Airlines was very good.
Like you say, Becca, a book.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
you
I
like to do puzzles, take like puzzle books, something to keep your
So-
mind occupied.
always have whatever film Ben's put on his iPad, whatever podcast I'm
caught it
listening
is clear.
to, my music, a book, a magazine, and a puzzle book. Because my attention span is nil.
I
Yeah,
agree with Claire. Ted Lasso is a very good thing to watch on a
It
flight, especially when you watch the finale, because it finishes him on a plane.
In an airport,
That's
yeah.
it,
Yeah,
I'm going to ask John this one because he's the only one of us that's got any experience of it.
Yeah.
Young children on a long flight.
yeah.
How
So
do you keep them entertained?
Becca, thank you, because I've actually written stuff down for this because it's actually one of the biggest nightmares as a parent.
Worrying.
Yeah, because actually you don't quite know how it's going to go, and we took our kids on a very long flight to Orlando at probably an age where some people would think, is it a bit too young? And actually,
Yeah.
no, and that was our view. I think one of the biggest things to actually bear in mind is if the lounge for a child is a no-go, right? So you're in the airport and you're in there quite sharpish, so you try and keep them entertained. A child watching planes coming and going and things like that is the most amazing thing for them. When they get onto the plane, it's a completely new experience, and actually you get away probably for the first 45 minutes of a flight of just the newness of it, the fact that they've got a completely different sort of basically a workstation for what they don't know. 10 hours is going to be a long time, but the biggest thing to remember is don't, and this is one of my pet hates, is when you see somebody who is very well organized, but they get all the stuff out at the same time. Generally, when the seatbelt sign goes off, it's like, oh, mum or dad goes into the back. Here we go. Right, here you go. Here's every snack, here's every coloring book, here's every this, and the child is just like totally overcome. And within an hour,
Bored of it all.
they're totally bored.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is just drip feed lots of little snacks, lots of little different things to do, little activities, coloring books, reading books. Please, 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 from my own experience, do not encourage your child to smack the seat in front of you as they go and they change the channel every single second for hour after hour after. That really infuriates me. And I positively have always encouraged my children, do not do that.
what's worse is if it's an adult behind you doing the same.
Yes, but there's no excuse for that. There is an excuse if a child doesn't know better. That becomes a little bit of an issue. But it's one of them things. Touchscreen seatback TVs are good in some respects, but it is just a really horrible thing. You just need to get
to add in what onto what you're saying, John.
Yeah.
In the toys that you bring on, try and get some new ones to hold their. I mean, obviously bring some old favourites that they love, but bring something new, a new colouring book, a new Polly Pocket, a new something that will keep them entertained for quite a while. I think. Yeah. Obviously, I don't have children, but it seems to be the advice from other parents.
You have, but Robin, you have to, and I've seen it so many times, and unfortunately, you sit there as a parent yourself with your own kids, and you're just like, you got your head in your hands to begin with. You're just like, no, don't, please don't. You're not helping. You're not helping your child, because you're actually making your child. You've got that over sort of exhilaration moment at the start of a flight, and so a child's just got, it's like a Christmas Day moment. They've opened it all. It's like, way, and then suddenly you've got another 8.5 hours left.
Yes.
And it's just, you've got to think of the long term, and not for, I'm not even thinking about other passengers. I'm thinking of your own sanity as a parent. And that's the key thing, because I know for many people, if you've been on a flight and it's got kids and they're screaming and they're playing up and they're being an absolute pain in the backside, you're just looking at the parents and you're just drawing daggers and you're just saying, how on earth can you get that child to shut up, this other? The parent is not doing it on purpose, right?
No.
The child isn't doing it on purpose. The child's just probably, the child's just bored. And so
when you think of so much different environmental change from where they are, the things like air pressure change, there's lots of stuff that's happened, especially for the first time on a flight. It's a lot to take in.
Ears
It
popping.
is.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You have to be a little bit, even me, as I've got to me grumpy old age and things like that, you have to be a little bit more understanding that, any child is, they're being held against their will in a seat and being held hostage for as long as they feel as if they can be curtailed into there. I was recently on a flight with a child who just had wriggled out and decided he was going to run from one end of a plane. It was just like a single aisle plane, but run from one end right to the other, out to the other. It was just, and like the parents are just like, oh my word. This is just like, where's that?
It's like a head in hands moment,
and actually, you've got to feel for them, because actually what the child wanted to do was just have that ability to go and stretch the legs and just be a child. As air passengers, we just want that little bit where it's nice and quiet. Somebody brings me a drink, somebody brings me some food. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be absolutely perfect. Things like that. And actually, life isn't like that. And Hannah, thank you. That's a beautiful comment there about people. Ex-cabin crew, and tell people not to worry if a child cries or finds it hard.
Absolutely,
you can only do what you can help. And that's what my point really is pre-plan your parenting bit, but don't just make it Christmas Day. Drip feed it so you can change a child's mood. You can change just how they feel just by giving them something completely different. And if that means that you've got a book, irrespective of what age the child is, even if they're 14, 15 and they're becoming a bit raggy because it's,
they're tired, it's been a long day.
Yeah, because it will be, because you're probably up from about 5 a.m. anyway. If you've been in the same hotel room the night before, there's not a lot of sleep going on because you're there and you're, oh my word. It's the worst case scenario. So encourage your child to sleep, encourage your child to watch something that they want to watch. And I think even when our kids were younger, it was a case we just, we had the old-fashioned Nintendo DSs when they were younger. Yeah. But we'd hook them up all between us, and we'd be playing the same game between us. So it saw us through about an hour and a half, because we were playing the golf, Tiger Woods golf, and it was just, but it made
there are better games available.
There is, and there's better handheld things now.
I still take mine on the plane with me.
Yeah, because it's there with you, Becca, and I actually don't feel that secure with having your phone as you I think Ben mentioned about having an iPad and having your films downloaded, and that everything becomes really compact, and you say, oh, I'm going to put my phone. But please remember, when you actually arrive in the US, if your phone hasn't charged properly, and you've got either a car hire receipt or you've got the gate number to get into the the gated community.
Yep.
When you actually arrive there and you're thinking, oh my word, my phone's completely fried. I've got no means of recharging it. You really need to make sure that you've thought of everything and don't just fry every ounce of charge off your phone, because actually
going on holiday is the only time that I will print everything out on paper.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's regardless of
I'm the
esters,
same.
all of that sort of, just in case, because working with technology, we know what happens sometimes, batteries, all of this, something was to happen. It's just having that backup there, I think, is just...
Yeah.
Another thing that takes
Ever
anxiety.
needed to use it?
No.
Yeah, and I know that I've talked a little bit more than we should have done about kids, but actually, for a lot of us as adults, it generally is how pleasant the journey becomes is very dependent on how the children around you are actually entertained, and that to me is a key. Because actually you don't want to be that parent who feels really uncomfortable, because they don't deserve that. Yeah, Claire, exactly. Fuzzy felt
and magic
fuzzy
painting.
felt magic painting.
Fuzzy
It's
felt
just
that takes me back.
doesn't it just?
Yeah.
There you go. I've never subjected my kids to fuzzy felt.
Have you not?
They've missed out, John. They've thrived.
No,
Tell us in the comments, is fuzzy felt just a British thing, or do you have it in the US as well?
I thought it was a my childhood thing.
Well,
No, I remember fuzzy felt.
I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe I do.
I think Robin's missed out.
Those felt, and they come in different shapes.
Robin.
So you used to make pictures with the.
I tell you what, Robin. Yeah, but Robin, given
pieces of felt shapes.
Right, whoever gets the Robin
And
for
a
the Secret
background.
Santa this year.
but the thing is,
Well, I need something to keep me entertained on Saturday, so maybe I just need to go get some to keep.
Maybe you do.
But Robin's whole livelihood is actually based around the premise of fuzzy felt, and that's the bit. It's just like it's sticking bits of material on it was a material, and then basically it'll stick automatically with fuzzy felt. Whereas you go and stitch it on, you stitch it.
I'll send you a link and you can buy some for
Okay.
Sounds like fuzzy felt might not be known in the US. So basically you have a board that's made of like a Velcro type substance.
It's felt,
and you have little shapes cut out with felt.
Which is
and you can stick the shapes on the board.
the background.
That was fun.
The back of the felt is fuzzy and it sticks to the background.
It is really simple. It is one of the most amazing things. Yeah.
Maybe I had some, but it's not ringing any bells.
Okay.
Oh.
Maybe I did.
Jane mentioned something as well. Change of clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
In your hand luggage.
Little ones. Extra.
Especially if you've got little
you
ones.
need.
Yeah.
But also for grown-ups.
For grown-ups as well. Especially if you're flying. Either way, from a hot country to a cold country or cold country to a hot country, you can layer up. It's cold on the plane, so have the jumper, pair of shorts in your bag, so that when you land, you can just.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to dive in on this one, and Jane in the chat. I've just had the most disastrous flashback moment, because if you go in direct, right, this goes back to probably 2009, and we got snowed out of Philadelphia and ended up in Chicago. We thought in our hand luggage we had enough nappies, we had enough. We thought we had enough for the flight and stuff like that. You got snowed out and then told that you're going to have an overnighter in Chicago and you won't be getting to Orlando until at least mid-afternoon the following day. And we had nothing. And we were in an airport. We were just like, oh my word. It's like poor some who was so young at the time. And you're just like, this could end up being really, really problematic. I think we describe her as some form of angel that kind of appeared behind the United Airlines desk, and she was she probably was beyond retirement age, yet she was still working because she loved the job, and she knew we were in trouble. She went and got us loads of baby stuff.
Oh.
She also bumped us up the list. We were on the standby list at 63, 64, something like that. We suddenly appeared at number 12 on the standby list.
Wow.
And she was, like I say, I would never ever describe someone as an angel. She appeared from absolutely nowhere. She knew the predicament that we were in. And at that time, the day after, we were going from gate to gate for every Chicago to Orlando flight, trying to get to Orlando before, and this was just before Christmas. And so every flight was full. There was, every flight was overbooked, and you were just thinking, we are not going to get there. Oh. And she just made it happen. And she, if there's ever one person that worked for an airline that you would want to go and just meet again and just say thank you, it was that moment. And you just thought, and she split a massive group of about 12 or 15 people. So the first 6 of them before us in the queue on the standby list were saying, but we're as a group, we should be all at the same. We're all going together. If we're not going, we're not going at all. So we ended up creeping up, and we got onto this flight. I have never ever I'll never forget that feeling. It's one of them things that I never wrote about it because it was very early on our trips and stuff like that. And it's been right in the back of my head of just, thank you, Jane. That is a moment which you never think about. You just never ever think about. And it was just like a magical experience that you just know that someone's looking down on you thinking, these poor guys are put up with so much. And a leaky nappy is not what you want when you're on an airplane.
So the moral of the story: always pack spares. Doesn't matter what it is.
100% more than you need.
I was going to say, whatever you're planning on packing, double it.
Yeah, and I tell you a bit of advice as well. If you're coming from the UK, I have got a line that when we went for the first time, I wouldn't fly into anywhere below kind of Atlanta, because you know that there's going to be could be a storm, it could be massive, you could be in trouble. And then the second year we just booked it, and and when you saw Philly, we'll get away with it. It was fine last year, blah blah. And then when you see, we were about 20 minutes outside of Philly, and we just took a right turn. And at that point, I was like, oh, I know what's happening. And my geography of America is not the greatest. But if you're taking a right turn at Philadelphia, and then the pilot comes and says, we're going to Chicago. Now, Chicago's even further north and got even worse weather. And you're just thinking, this is just disastrous. And it's just like, no way. It's not good. Really is. Claire.
I doubt they got a Claire.
She knows something. It's great when Claire gets in the chat and she just sort of heckles.
It's just like she's here.
There's no difference.
I noticed a little further up, Grumpy Old Git made a comment about children, the old days when children were allowed to visit the cockpit.
Yeah.
And that took me right back to something that I know we're going to talk about, which is films that you might not want to watch when you're on a plane. That took me back to airplanes.
Snakes on a plane. I have to remember the first flight I ever went on Virgin Atlantic, opened the book, which had all the highlights of in-flight entertainment. Number 1 was Snakes on a Plane. Really not the film to watch.
It's a bit like watching Titanic when you're on a cruise.
No.
Raid on Entebbe, you could get the whole lot of it, couldn't you?
Alive.
There's a Final Destination where we're on a plane as well, right?
I think it's the first one, actually.
I think it's the first one. I'm sure that's the only one I saw. Traumatized me enough.
It didn't traumatise you enough never to get on a plane again, though.
It might be traumatising. John might have to watch a Marvel film.
They made 4 in the end.
No, I don't think so.
How many Marvel films do you reckon you could get through?
I could get through.
On air, yep. Con says Claire. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
It depends, though, Ben, doesn't it? Yeah.
How many of you watched so far? I know
One.
it's been a while since we've done a Marvel update.
One.
Still one.
Still the
Still
one.
one.
Still the one. And I've done
Well,
one
you've got a
division. So
flight
that's
coming
it.
up in August, haven't you?
Do you know something?
Yeah.
You know something? That might actually be the.
You won't
That
watch
might
one.
be the
No,
opportunity.
he's going to watch 3. I reckon he can get at least 3 in per
If-
flight.
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
But it depends though, because actually, I use a flight for different bits, and I tend to do
He's got Final
podcasts,
Destination to watch.
but podcast music, and then I think
Yeah.
I do like just watching the sky map
Like, I do that.
and just
Yep.
just watch it, and like
Yep.
you play about with the different view.
Yeah.
I think we flew with Lufthansa one year, and they had a view that was basically a camera under the plane. So you were
Yeah.
that was so good.
Yeah.
I think Unite-
Virgin A350s,
Yeah,
A350-1000s, they're on there.
Yep.
You've got the front and you've got the tail wing.
that'll do for me. I tell you,
Yeah.
I just love stuff like that. And
I love watching it when you're about to land.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
The sky
It's-
map is
it's-
oddly compelling as well.
Yeah. It's nice
Yeah.
to know how far you've
Yeah.
How far you've
But-
gone.
flown.
Some
That's all
airlines
you've
they
got to
keep
say.
telling you things like every so often it'll say, you're this many miles from where you started, you're this many miles to where you're going, and then
Yeah.
it'll tell you things like temperature outside. And I'm thinking, why? I'm not going
Yeah,
out
how
there.
cold it
I'm not
is.
going out there.
Even
That's how
though
big-
Walking on the wing.
even though it's winter and I've bought a big coat, I'm not going outside.
See, the only time I like the temperature outside part is when you've actually landed and you're taxiing
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
When it says
yeah.
35 degrees.
temperature outside. 35. Yes, please.
I love stuff like that. I think and also if you can get Wi-Fi on the plane as well,
Yeah.
I love Flight Radar as an app
Yeah.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
It is very, very addictive, I do admit, and particularly when things don't go according to plan, when you get an alert on your phone that somebody a flight has squawked that there's an emergency on board, which I'm like, oh, there we go. Right? And it's usually in the UK, it's usually because it's dead windy and then planes are coming to land and they can't land. Similar going into Orlando when there's a storm on
Yep.
and you're coming in and you can see. America's brilliant for this because you can actually see, you can feel the fact that a pilot is actually going around different cells of weather. You know, we actually arrived in Orlando one time from Atlanta, having gone via like the way out the wrong way, and I think we came across back through Tampa and things like
Oh,
that.
wow.
That was just purely to avoid the weather. And as we came in, we could see the weather on both sides, and you're thinking, no, this isn't happening. There was a FedEx cargo plane in front of us, which to this day we were looking out the window and we were sure he got struck by lightning, and we were just like, just get us on the floor. That's it. We just want this to be
It's
over.
an experience
Well,
being in a storm.
We
We've
landed in a
storm.
lightning storm once.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was fun. I enjoyed
If
it.
you ever want entertainment, how you would fill in the last half hour of a flight, it actually is the most exciting bit.
I thought you were going to say last hour of your life then.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Depends what happens.
Never. And I actually, I would actually always say, and I think this is, I'll put it across the other way. It's the fact that anybody who works on a flight, be it cabin crew or certainly the people who are up front and totally in charge of making sure you get from A to B as safely as possible. These guys are actually, they're at the forefront of a hell of a lot of bad, just people who think that they're there to serve them. They're not. They're there to keep you safe.
They're not.
Yeah, they're there to keep you safe. And actually, if they tell you to sit down and not to do something, or to put your seat rest down or things like that, just do it, because actually they're there to help. And we're in an era at the moment where people get a bit uppity, and I don't like it. I don't agree with it, and I actually feel that do as you're told. It's like you're not going to land unless the guy at the front is actually is capable of getting you there. And I won't also make it. I'll make it sort of gender neutral as well, because actually there are some female pilots that I follow on Twitter who are exceptionally good at what they do as well. So.
I had to like Sean's comment. I don't mind a rocky flight and a return journey. I always think, well, at least I've had my holiday.
It's been a good life.
Yeah. It's been a good couple of weeks. Disney, yeah, okay.
Okay, guys.
I was going to say, I feel like
go
we
on.
skipped over a really important part of before you get on the plane. Something that's it's very important to me.
Duty free.
I mean, I don't mind a little browse, but I've got to go buy some food because I never like the food. It doesn't matter how I'm flying. I never really like the food.
Boots
And
meal
you
deal.
know how it's a good way to pass the time? Eating.
Yeah.
This is
Gotta
a
get
very
snacks.
good point.
Yeah.
I
So
always
not
get
snakes
like
on a plane, but
meal.
snacks on a plane.
Snacks on a plane. That's
Okay.
much better.
Yeah.
than snacks on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snacks. It's not just snacks, not just for children. They're for adults too.
For adults too.
Do you remember the pretzels that Virgin used to do? Those are the Penn State ones,
Yeah.
the little
Somebody
green
got some of them
bags.
on his way home.
Oh
This
wow!
way.
Because they
Ooh.
haven't done them in a few years. So what we normally do is we go to Waitrose or Sainsbury's, we buy the big bag, and we would just take that on the plane with us. So
Yeah.
Along with
You
the
do.
Boots meal deal usually, because
Yeah.
yeah,
Boots meal deal, Pret meal deal, someone's meal deal.
yeah.
Give me some snacks.
You can
'cause-
guarantee that one of the meals that they serve you is going to be atrocious.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Right. Let's get this sorted. Right. So if you're going to get a meal deal, right,
Yeah.
Boots is a chemist, right?
Yeah.
Just like W.H. Smith is like
It's a bookstore.
a bookshop and it sells newspapers. Why would you go and buy sandwiches from those places rather than going to somewhere like Pret, where you can get
Well,
a
I
sausage
cheaper usually.
and it's fresh, and
usually
it's
cheaper.
freshly made? Yeah, but it's rubbish. It's just like
It
it's
depends.
it's the
on
kind
what's
of
on offer.
it's the kind of stuff you wouldn't feed to your dog or your cat. So
Right.
why would you
Yeah,
eat
just
that?
eat some popcorn.
It's cheaper.
That's
that's usually
That's
it.
literally the only reason.
So
Yeah.
Maybe we'll try Pret next time then.
Yeah.
Actually,
You
I'd
do,
rather
yeah.
run for
Yeah.
Waffle,
You do hear stories, and
Yeah.
it's only stories of somebody asking for hot water for a pot noodle
I've heard that.
on a plane.
Yeah.
I would
I've
not
never-
like to be
I'd just
sitting
sit
next to
next to
that
him.
person. Can you imagine?
I've never
Depends
thought
on
of
the
that.
flavour of the noodle.
I've never
Depends
thought
on
of
the
that.
flavour
Monster
of the pot
Munch and
noodle.
Pringles. I'm just imagining
Oh.
what flavour Monster Munch.
Well, we had
Yeah,
huge bowls
flaming-
of dairy
flaming
milk on
hot.
the plane.
Flaming hot.
Yeah.
Not pickled
I-
onion then.
Yeah.
Oh
Some
yeah.
sort of
Pick
sour
up
cream
on
charged
imagine
Pringles.
opening them.
For our American friends, pot noodle is like cup noodle. Just to get you. Okay, guys, I have 3 questions. We are coming into our final approach.
Doors to manual.
Already?
And
Good grief.
Ready?
Wow.
That was quick.
That was
I was still waiting for the food to come around, Peter. No,
Coming in, we could be taxiing for a while.
I've got to say, because actually I've got to say, we've gone from where Ben mentioned going upper class and this and the other, right? Everyone knows I never go upper class. I never go premium economy. We're all going at the same place. And if I'm sitting in the economy seat and I paid a third,
We're all
of
in
the price,
economy today anyway.
yeah, and I'm a third of the price, I'm feeling as if I'm quids in, right?
To be honest, it's probably even less than a third
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
sometimes.
I don't look Robin, so I'm I don't like what I'm paying for economy for this year, so I'm really
All
unhappy
about
with that one. But hey,
miles. It's all about miles.
I'll just
Yes,
leave it
indeed.
there. But actually, we're on a 50-50 split in our house. We've got 2 of us will not touch plain food, right? So, which means that for 2 of us, that's double the amount that you can actually enjoy, which is a bonus, yeah.
That's true.
And some airlines are better than others. Some food choices can be better than others. But also, if you're going in direct as well, just know that you can actually get to somewhere where you can actually go and get a burger, and you're all right when you get into America at the top end of the country, and you're fine. I actually think the airline food gets such a bad reputation, and wait until we get to the stage. And I think there's a load of people who listen and watch the show from the States, where if you're on that longer flight, I'm thinking more from Boston down to Orlando or Miami, where you're not even offered food anymore. I think that you're doing it a complete disservice, and
all you get is a snack. You're not actually entitled
Well,
to.
Yeah,
We had to pay extra for our food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you got to pay extra
Yeah.
for food.
The
Yeah.
same
I
as what
did
you used to
that.
try with Norwegian.
and that's what I'm thinking. We're now in that realm.
I saved my money and I bought myself a meal deal.
From Boots.
Maybe
But I guess at least you've got a choice then, you know.
Yeah, and maybe, but you see, and that's the problem. We're not seeing the saving
No.
from this side, from the customer side, from the airline point of view, not shelling out for all the meals and this and that. They're thinking, brilliant. There you go. That's another saving that we can make, and we don't even have to pass it on to the customer. We don't provide them with a meal, whereas that has always been a massive part of long haul flight. You get a meal, you know it might be hitting this, but hey, you'll take it and you go from there.
Strangely, I don't find the main meals to be terrible. It's the afternoon tea boxes that are always rubbish, in my opinion. The best meal I've ever had was actually in economy. It was mac and cheese.
Yeah, bacon, mac and cheese.
Bacon, mac and cheese. And that goes with you can't do mac and cheese wrong, because even the plane got it right.
Yeah.
I would eat that. I would definitely eat that.
Yeah.
It was
Like
really
Japan Airlines,
tasty.
their food is fabulous.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
airplane food.
Yep. Japan Airlines, it's like a little work of art on your tray.
Is that?
And these little individual
Little
jewel
dishes,
boxes,
yeah.
beautifully laid out and
Like
absolutely
wonderful.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Do you think if I speak to them nicely, do you think, or maybe we should just get on the plane and then sort of go over
See
a
where
nice
you go.
quiet,
Yeah.
nice quiet word with the pilot, like you used to be able to have, and say, look, mate, instead of going that way, let's go that way, and we'll go to Orlando.
Refuel in Orlando if you wouldn't
Drop
mind.
me off in Orlando, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Or John, you could just change it Tokyo.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen, Peter. No, not if my son's working in Orlando and he's got a cast member discount as well. So.
Oh yeah,
That's
don't forget
going to get some news.
Yeah.
Okay,
You have to pay more for luggage on the way back, John.
I know, exactly. I'm already
John, you
thinking
mentioned
that.
about like paying extra, like saving money by booking a different airline to save money on food and things. The other thing that I don't know whether people pay for now are seats. By choosing a seat where you choose before, is it one of those things that you do because you know the seat you want to sit in is going to be more comfortable? Like what part of the plane? Because I know that for our flight in September, it's like it's going to cost us £200 to book seats. So
We're
like
not doing it, by the
£50
way.
each.
We're not.
On the seats that I looked at the other day.
Hang on, who's that flying with?
Virgin.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only the front
economy.
3 rows.
No,
So
it's
if you
economy
sit-
delight
No.
is more. They
even-
charge £170 for upgrade to economy delight, which is only the front 3 rows, and then but they vary in the middle. They're like £40. The further back
Are
you
you
go, they're
flying Club
£30.
Silver by any chance?
No,
I was going to say you can do it a week before for free.
yeah,
No.
no,
We lost
I
our
think I'd
silver
chance
status.
it, you know. I'd chance it. I'd just be
yeah.
like,
We are
We're not
chancing
going to
it.
pay £200
We're not paying
flights.
£200. We're
No.
grown
Absolutely
adults.
not, no.
We can sit apart for 9 hours if we need to.
yeah.
Decent
I mean,
quiet
we
for 9
have
hours.
a preference because basically I'm not exactly I'm more Ursula than Ariel, shall we say, or more Baymax than Baywatch. So I'm not a small person, and I do like to have to sit in the rows of 2 rather than 3 or 4. just because then it's just Peter and me. However, those rows of 2 are not always available, depending on which airline you use and which class you're flying in. So that can be tricky.
Be tricky, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
I get it.
I'm trying to keep my head on here because every question we ask, I keep coming out with stuff that I'm going through, and I don't wish to kind of keep sharing.
Feel free, because what you're going through
is what we've all been through last
but it always ends up as me having a rant, and I don't like. I don't need to.
Don't worry, John. No one's meant to spectral magic. It's fine.
We haven't got to reclining yet. It's fine.
No, yeah.
Don't talk about reclining yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
I tell you what. I'm going to put.
I might be
will come, but not
yet.
Yeah. I'm just. I'm not even going to go there. Right. So, we went to book flights for the summer with Virgin, and we're just like, okay, I'm paying more than I want to. I go to click on pay. Right. At the moment I have to pay, the price went up by £140 per person.
Whoop.
So I thought, well, I can't repeat what I thought because I actually said it out loud. And so I thought, no, they're having a laugh, right? So I went through the whole process again because you see the price, you think, yeah, I'll pay that, blah, 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 right? Click. I get the alert up on my phone from my bank to say, oh, you're going to pay for this. Yeah, you click on that, this and that. And then you go to the next screen with Virgin. No, the price that you're paying because of demand has gone up by the same. And I'm thinking, you're actually basically taking the absolute proverbial out of me here. So me being me, went to the Delta website because it's the same flight that's going out, at which I got the price that was previously offered by Virgin. So I paid that, but I also got free seats on the plane.
That is amazing.
Just saying, like, I have got my seats booked. Yes, I can't book certain blocks of them, etc., unless I pay. Yeah, but I've got my seat already sorted out. I've checked Seat Guru as well. And if you've never done that, because I'm a real nerd for airlines,
really good.
Go and check out Seat Guru. You get some brilliant feedback as to which seats are good, which are not so good, which have got limited recline, or ones that got no recline, which have got power sockets, which have got no space to put your feet in front, etc. Yeah, seatguru.com, and also you can actually find the exact plane that you're going on if you give them the information of what your flight place you're leaving and arriving into as well. But yeah, that was. Sorry, I feel as if I've picked up on loads of the little things through the show tonight. I don't mean to keep going on about it, but actually, it's the things that really matter to me. I don't like getting screwed over for paying for my seats, but I want to know that I'm actually got a seat and I'm not going to have my whole family sort of scattered around the plane. So if I can find a way to avoid that, it always does for me.
Yeah.
So has anyone done what James said? So someone I watch on YouTube book their seats on by the window, one by the aisle, hoping the middle one is kept free.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Does it work?
Yes, I booked it on an Emirates flight for my next door neighbour because she knows what a nerd I am about these things, and we found her a seat. She wanted an aisle seat, and the window seat was already booked. She was going to Singapore and then on to Australia, so we did the same on both flights. She ended up with exactly that space, that middle seat space, and it was an A380 on both sectors of the flight across to Australia. So again, an airplane that was much bigger than possibly was necessary, but it was Emirates and it was different.
Yeah, and going back to your point, John, code share on flights, always look at booking the alternative. It's just and sometimes it's if you book with British Airways and you're going for an indirect flight, look at American Airlines. Look at different companies. We managed to get a better deal going through different companies. Even though it's the same flight, same code share, It's
Wow.
just
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
save quite a lot of money that way.
And actually, it's a set. And this is worth saying because I don't think American Airlines don't talk to me because I did take them to court. But if things don't go according to plan and you're leaving from a UK airport and you are on an aircraft that is UK, you are entitled to delay, compensation, etc.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work if you're going if you're on a American Airlines plane coming out of America. It's not the same. You don't get the same coverage.
Right, okay.
But it's one of them. But yeah, I did get a free flight for the whole family.
Okay, we have
Just
spun
saying.
round and round the airport, and we are coming in to land.
Are we?
And I have 3 questions that I hopefully will be quick fire-ish questions, although I know the last one won't.
Have you met John?
Why don't you start with the third one first, Peter?
No.
Because I know what is going
Yeah,
on.
go on.
Yeah.
Okay, pay for Wi-Fi or not?
Everyone at home,
Yes.
is just going to put popcorn on. Put
Yeah.
the popcorn on, guys, because this is going to get messy in a minute.
Also, now is a good time. If you've enjoyed tonight's show, don't forget to hit the like button.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for even more of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wi-Fi or not?
More
Wi-Fi or not?
popcorn moments.
Yeah, I'm paying
Yes.
for the Wi-Fi.
No,
I'll be
I know.
honest.
I like that 9 hours of disconnecting from the rest of the world.
There's one time that I wish I'd paid for Wi-Fi, and I really wish we had, because that was when we were trying to be contacted on the day we were flying out to Orlando on like the days the borders opened, and apparently the BBC were trying to get in touch, and obviously
Oh,
not having Wi-Fi on the plane, we
Yeah,
didn't realise we
remember
were
that.
landing. So
yeah.
It's a shame.
yeah.
The lovely Claire was our PA for that.
And then the worst thing is, WhatsApp messages were coming through, but you tapped, so you got the notifications, but I couldn't read them. So it was like my
Oh, that's
phone was
the worst.
like yeah.
Oh,
Were you
so
not
like,
tempted to just pay for it then when you were getting the
you know,
notification?
when it got to like an hour before the end, it's like, I'm going to do this. It's like, I don't care how much it was. It was on Delta, so it was like £8, I think. But it was like, and then there's like lots of phone calls and stuff once we landed at JFK.
Mm.
Oh no.
So,
Oh. So generally no or generally yes?
yeah, I think it's a mix. I would.
Okay.
Whereas I don't bother usually.
Yeah. But
Nah,
Okay.
I'm asleep anyway.
Okay. Next question. Headphones, yours or theirs?
mine.
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 Either.
It's like Finding Nemo.
I feel like Nemo. It's Nemo.
Yeah.
Mine.
Either. I'll happily use any.
I'm fussy with my headphones.
And why are they in such an awkward place?
Yeah, the headphone jack.
Yeah, right to the side.
It's just like right on your hip.
Yeah.
Right on your hip bone.
Yeah.
If also, I've got a tip. If you've got AirPods and you want to connect them, not all of the planes have Bluetooth. I know some of the modern ones do now, but you can get something called an AirFly, and it's about £40-50, but it's an adapter. So it's Bluetooth adapter, so you can connect your wireless AirPods to, so you can still listen to the in-flight entertainment.
Guess they won't be paying that, Ben.
Yeah. John.
Okay. The big final question. Do we hate people reclining?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Do,
care.
do you know what?
All the way back.
There's a
Don't
part of
care.
reclining, and I have to admit, I get claustrophobia on a plane. So when a few times I've woken up and the seat has been like here, and I've had to push them forward at like middle of the night, that I can't do with reclining on a plane.
So
Yeah.
I feel that people have such strong opinions. I just don't care enough. And that's me in economy. That's not me saying, oh, well, I'm flying up or whatever. In economy, I just don't care. The seat's made to recline. If the person in front of me reclines, they're completely allowed to do that. I would hope that they won't do it while we're eating. And to be honest, if they did, I'd say, do you mind printing out while we eat and then put it back
They're
down?
not supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not supposed to. There's not that much room. But also, so I was having this conversation with my friend only the other day, and she's premium, and she was like, it's just so rude. It's just getting into my space. I was like, well, are you not being rude by saying, no, you can't come back even though their chair does that?
Yeah.
If you get claustrophobic,
I'm of the opinion that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't take long
I
to ask for
agree.
somebody.
And it certainly doesn't take long to turn around and go, would you mind if I put my chair back a
That's the
little
thing.
bit?
So I would never
Yeah.
just
Most people
Yeah.
push
won't.
my button and shove back because I just think that's rude.
But everyone does.
They are made to recline, but people do have health
I don't.
issues. And this is the thing,
Yeah.
whether people are comfortable on a plane or not. Yes, I probably pay the extra top grade
Because-
premium for bigger seats, more leg room, more space. But it's one of those things. And a lot of when they've gone from 242 seat layouts to sort of 343 to squeeze more seats on the plane,
Yeah.
this has made it more difficult because there's less space for people to recline. People will recline, but especially when someone's trying to eat, how many times that it's like, okay, it's difficult.
Even just getting up to go to the bathroom. If the person in front of you has reclined all the way back, how are you supposed to get up?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you get up. I get up, and I'm wider than you
I just
are.
like,
If you're in the middle seat,
yeah.
you have to then try
push
to
back
get
in
up
my own
and get
chair.
past the other
Yeah.
person.
So
If
I
you,
would push up.
if you
my
push
chair.
on the
Push.
seat, they'll end up upright really quickly there, Becca. As well.
I mean, do you
I
not
would
think
hasten
that's
to it.
rude?
Oh, what
See,
you
to
do,
me,
John, is you
I
just
think
tap on the
that's
screen a
rude.
lot. You just tap really hard on the screen.
I was just waiting for that though, Ben, because actually
Again, are we not just thinking that that's just
Yeah.
as rude?
I've been
What,
on a
pushing
flight-
someone's chair up when they put it straight in my face because I need to get up and
yeah.
stretch my
Yeah.
legs
Yeah,
and
yeah.
pop
You
to the
just say,
bathroom.
"Oh, excuse
No.
me, can you put your seat up? I can't get
They're
up."
asleep.
It's also
Oh,
more
okay.
difficult when it is during a night flight
Right,
because
yeah.
a lot of stuff like that happens and everyone will recline a little bit on the seat. And I like the ones that are towards the back where there's no one behind you.
So,
So they've
those
got
are the
enough
ones-
recline.
Yeah. So those are the ones that I tend to try and go for because I don't
Yeah.
want to annoy the person behind me because I normally do recline my seat, but I never
It's
ever
fine
put
if
down
there's nobody
my feet.
behind you.
I don't put it down all in one go really quickly. I'll
No.
tend to put it down and I'll because I don't want them to yell at me. I do it a tiny bit at a time over like
Just
10
like,
minutes.
just
15 minutes.
they won't notice.
That-
They won't
They
notice.
won't notice if I just do a little bit at a time.
The
won't.
funniest thing is when you
They
first
won't.
got on the plane, everyone sat down. It's like the first, I think there was one person in front of us. It was like, put it all the way back. And it was like, we hadn't even taken off. And it was like, it was quite funny when he got moaned at by
Whereas
the
I don't
captain.
even move my chair an inch.
No.
Mine will stay upright the whole flight.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
Becca, I'm right with you. I'm a really principled, and I'm trying not to swear at this particular moment. I'm doing very well. I'm doing so well not to swear.
I just think if they recline,
but I'm so yeah,
they're
but I
meant
don't.
to
I don't.
recline.
No, but I.
the
that's-
easiest solution
again-
then is for them to take the reclining seats out and just put
Yeah.
standard seats.
And I wish they
I-
would. I'll be honest.
It solves the
But
whole
there's a
thing.
reason they don't.
Yeah.
So
It's more comfortable to have a reclining seat.
exactly.
could
And
pay
everyone
for-
wants
you could
comfort
pay-
on a
you
long
could
haul
pay
But if
flight.
I'm having
could
to
pay for
wake
that.
up the person in front of me just
Yeah.
so
Becca, I
I can
don't
move,
believe
that's
that
going to
you can't get
inconvenience
up
me
without
and them.
without waking them.
Okay, so
If I
we
can-
had a flight
I can
from
get up.
Orlando back home once, and I had to wake up the lady in front of Ben, move her seat up because she laid it all the way back and he couldn't move.
Yeah, see, if I
He
can get
couldn't-
my wide bottom up,
It was
I
so
would-
far back.
I do agree
maybe
that
that's-
we
maybe
were
that's
flying
it
with Air
broken.
Lingus.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
So
Well,
it's
maybe-
different,
So
different
maybe it's
economy,
different, maybe different airlines
Yeah.
have different rooms and have different amounts of recline, but be mindful
Has anyone-
of the people around you.
I
I
think
think
that
that-
the weirdest
that's
thing that
so
also
true.
happens is it's also just about respecting people around you, and I don't think it's just about reclining seats. I think there's things like I've seen where someone who's had long hair and they've put it back and it's been over the screen, so that the person behind can't watch.
Okay, if someone did that to me,
If only
you're getting your hair pulled, okay?
If only
I will pull your hair
get
for the rest
scissors.
for 9 hours.
Sit all the way back.
Scissors. If
That's
we can
bad.
get scissors through
That's
security,
scissors.
it'd be sorted. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you hit
And
the
if
nail on the head. It's
Someone
just-
was to put their foot up, they would probably get
Respecting people
elbowed.
around you, and
Yeah.
I think that goes for
I'm not going to be very violent, aren't I?
I just think if
It's
we're
the
all
most. It is the most
to each
contentious
other-
thing.
Yeah.
It's the most
Yeah.
contentious
Yeah.
thing, and there's
Yeah.
no right or there is no right or wrong answer.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion.
Let's be clear on that. I would also
Yeah.
point out that there's certain forums and there's certain, you get into chat on different Facebook groups and things. People will get flung out of forums and Facebook groups for this exact argument.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong. And actually what we're starting to find is, particularly with a lot of the shorter flights up to about 5 hours on probably a lot of what's considered low cost airlines, they've taken out that whole recline option. And I think as we get a little bit further on and people get more used to the fact that there isn't a recline option, then it probably will become something that is either premium economy or just something that becomes the first class part where you get the full recline in bed thing. It is not something that we really need to, in a way, get uptight about. If someone reclines, I would tell my kids, smack that screen as hard as you want some, because to be honest, they've been rude. They've been rude to you without asking. You can be rude back. Yeah. They have, if you recline, and we've had it. They've reclined before we've even taken off. It's just like bang in your face. Yeah, and that's rude. That's late. I'm all right, Jack. I'm not thinking about the person behind me or anything like that. And I'm with Becca. I will deliberately be completely in the upright position, just purely for the fact to show people around me that it can be done. I know.
Also, if you've got an issue,
we'll go like that,
if you do have an issue, speak to the cabin crew as well, because they know how to handle these situations. They've got experience.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think that there are ways of handling this, because we all have the option to recline.
Yeah. Speak to the person in front, say to them, maybe they don't mind, they'll put their seat back up. And if it does bother you, speak to the cabin crew. It might be a case that there might be a seat somewhere else, but either you or them to move to. So neither of you will be bothered. I think there's always a way. I don't think pushing the buttons is hard. I think there's always a nicer way to deal with it. Speak to someone. Say to them, I'm really sorry. Maybe we can find something else.
Definitely. It's all about making the flight comfortable for everyone around you as well as.
I think, to be honest, if you go on a budget airline, the time's coming when you're all going to have to stand all the way.
I'm not sure I could do that for 10 hours, though.
I'd probably sit on the floor.
Do you want to know something, Ben? That actually wouldn't even bother me. And I think Hannah mentioned it in the chat before. It's once you actually, especially if you know you're going to your happy place and you're going to Walt Disney World, it doesn't kind of matter in the bigger scheme of things. You're going to somewhere where you are going to have the most amazing time.
Exactly.
And you just, I think that again, it comes back to why I'm tight and I won't go first class. I won't pay extra, because actually that's not my holiday. It's my means to get there. And similarly to how I go to work every morning, it's the fact that my car doesn't have to be the most luxurious one to sit in all day and teach people to drive. It's the one that I think is best for them. So I sit in the seat on an airplane, which I feel is the cheapest and the most effective way of getting to the same place that someone else has subsidized my seat by paying a whack more money than I've paid. And
there you go. Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah. That's exactly it, Robin. It really is.
You'll choose your own way you want to travel.
Exactly.
As long as it's not on the wing or it's not on that outside bit where it's telling you. It's not telling you how cold it is outside.
What you'd rather have a beanbag.
It'd be a couple of winter coats out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we have landed, folks. And we are.
I was going to say, this descent's gone a while.
I'm going to finish this program and this kills me.
Are you sure? Are you sure we're going to let you?
We've landed.
John's monologue. John's got to do a landing speech.
Thanks for the tips, everyone, and
thanks for soaring with us.
And thanks. The chat has been alive tonight. It's been really good in the chat.
It certainly has.
If all of this has inspired you to book a flight, you might want to check out our friends at Portwood Travel, who can get you booked quicker than you can say, doors to manual.
Oh, it's good that, Peter. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was hers,
yeah.
it wasn't mine. It was
No.
hers.
They're not
Well
in the
done, Jill.
chat tonight. Not in the chat tonight.
Not in
but
chat
they're-
tonight,
Yeah.
but yeah, there you go.
There
Portwood
we go.
Travel.
Portwood Travel. Do check that out.
Yeah, I actually think they're doing travel agent stuff tonight as well, and
Oh.
and fair play. to them,
They're
'cause
too busy booking other people's trips. And
I think
Yeah,
that-
there you
but
go.
I think
Yeah.
that's exactly it, and I think for both Neil and Karen as well, what I would say is they always come back and watch the show, and they've got the ability. If you've got certain things that you want from a flight, and it is either medical or it's something, they will help you with that, and they will talk you through exactly what your options are as well. And that's the good thing about going through a travel agent, that you actually know, rather than doing the bit that I do, is just kind of cutting all the cost and then just sort of taking Virgin out the option and going with Delta. They can do that for you, but they will actually help you on that flight booking as well. So
Yeah.
Now, it can't have escaped anybody's notice that we're into February.
At last. After 999 days of January.
I'm going through for one more.
And the greeting card manufacturers and rose growers are seeing pound signs in their eyes.
I feel that positivity there, Peter. Love it.
But we have decided to take a different approach this time.
Oh,
Next
yes.
Wednesday, we'll be looking at ideas for a date at Walt Disney World. The most romantic places, and what does romance mean?
I think next Wednesday has a very different turn. I could be completely different because I think you might want to swipe right at this. Because next week is Disney Tinder, a date to remember.
I was trying to be nice, you know.
Just
Cool.
wait until we get started next week, Peter. And the thing is, I'm hosting, which is even better. It's just
dear.
like, and
I have a half.
it is Valentine's Day, so don't tell my missus, because actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a half full bottle of brandy. I think I'll break it out for next week.
Half
Might
full.
be a good
There you
idea.
go. That's that positivity.
Yeah.
Positivity
Half full.
really kicking in there. It'll be empty by the time we finish next Wednesday. So, yeah.
Meanwhile, if you still haven't had enough of this chaos and madness that is the Waffle, all our previous shows are available on YouTube and with your favourite podcaster. We would be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to share this show with your friends and family who have the same passion of Disney as we do, and even if they don't.
Anyone
Just
who's about
share
to get
it.
on a flight.
Force it
Anyone
on them
who's- yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've forced it on them anyway. Don't forget to join in the conversation at the Waffler's Arms, our lively Facebook community where we share Disney news, countdowns, trips, endless banter, and My Tokyo videos,
And Fuzzy Pelt.
and Fuzzy Felt.
Apparently.
Oh yeah.
We are on.
Get some.
We are at GB Mickey Waffle on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, and X, which we can stop calling formerly Twitter now, can't we?
Yeah, it's been
No.
6
Can we?
months. Yeah,
It's
it's
still
just known
Twitter.
as X.
Fine.
As of yesterday, it is
It sounds
X.
dodgy.
It's Twitter.
X.
Yeah.
It could be worse. It could be known as Triple X.
Isn't that a film?
No, you said that. If I said that, I get into trouble for things like that. Please don't. Oh no, don't go.
Don't
put
Google
tri-
it.
No.
Don't
Don't
go.
Google
Don't
it.
look
Don't
at
go.
the transcript.
Please don't. No.
No, Triple X was a vampire film.
No, it wasn't. It was a
I
car
liked
film.
it.
No, don't. Please don't. No.
Moving swiftly on.
Just find all those for a daily dose of magic.
Yay.
And thank you again for taking part in today's episode, everybody, whether you're a waffler or in the chat. And now
Yeah.
there's just one thing left to say.
Waffle,
Waffle
on!
on!
On.
Thanks for soaring with us.
Yay!